Here are the top stories for today, September 10, 2019. The PNP coordinates with Interpol on the serving of an arrest warrant against CPP founder Jose Maria Sison. The Philippines and Singapore signed 8 agreements during the visit of Singaporean President Duterte-Yacob. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security denounces the attack by armed men on the printing plant of the Abante news group. And parents of students who joined leftist groups band together to prevent the recruitment of the youth into the communist movement.
Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story for today: the Philippine National Police on Monday said it already coordinated with the International Criminal Police Organization or Interpol for the warrant of arrest issued against CPP founder Jose Maria Joma Sison and 37 others. The case stemmed from the discovery of a mass grave in Inopacan, Leyte in 2006 that purportedly contained bones of victims of the alleged purging by the CPP-NPA. The Regional Trial Court Branch 32 in Manila issued the warrant of arrest on August 28 against self-exiled Sison and 37 individuals, including National Democratic Front consultants Luis Halandoni, Prudencio Calubid, and Jeronimo Pacetes. Based on estimates of former rebels and the victims' relatives, the Inopacan massacre, which was also dubbed by the New People's Army as Oplan venereal disease, claimed the lives of about 300 residents in Leyte province. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Bernard Banac said warrants of arrest will be immediately served once the PNP gets information from its foreign counterparts. No bail was recommended for the accused. President Duterte will no longer reappoint dismissed Bucor Chief Nicanor Faeldon to another cabinet post. In an interview over 24 Horas on Saturday, Duterte said he has no plans of reappointing Faeldon, who already had enough controversies in the last few years. Duterte, however, said he still trusts Faeldon, noting that he refused to believe that he was involved in corruption within the Bucor. In a recent speech in Naga City, Cebu, Duterte cited Faeldon's contribution to the government when he was still commissioner on the Bureau of Customs, particularly the seizure of 3.2 billion pesos worth of Mighty Corporation cigarettes with the fake tax stamps in Bulacan. Duterte said he is currently deciding on Faeldon's replacement. Currently, Bucor Assistant Secretary and Deputy Director General Melvin Ramon Buenafe serves as Officer in Charge or OIC. Meanwhile, the government is determined to shed light and resolve the controversial issue on the early release of some 2,000 inmates under GCTA. While the Bureau of Corrections is currently under fire, authorities found more irregularities inside the new Bilibid prison. Rom Dulfo tells us more.
Amid the ongoing Senate probe on the alleged sale of Good Conduct Time Allowance or GCTA credits for the early release of prisoners at the Bureau of Corrections, Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo on Monday bared another alleged anomaly in the New Bilibid prison. He said that even the hospital that was established in the prison compound for humanitarian reasons is also being abused and tarnished. In response, DOJ Secretary Minaldo Guevara said they already formed an oversight committee for the Bucor so that there will be close supervision at this critical time. He adds the DOJ will also seek help from the NBI to determine whether the necessary documentations for hospital pass are fake or not. Meanwhile, presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo said he will suggest to President Duterte a total ban of mobile phones and cutting signal in the New Bilibid prison. This comes after reports that high-profile inmates continue using their phones while inside the penitentiary.
Who will cut that off? O di siyempre, the operator ng Smart, ng Globe. Tapos ganun lang kasimple yan. Then the law should require them. O, hindi ba? To stop the signal, the operation of a particular use of communication system within an area. Kung yan lang ang problema, kung nakaka-aggravate sa problema, di tanggalin na lang natin.
Meanwhile, more than 100 prisoners who were freed earlier under the controversial GCTA law have surrendered to the police. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Bernard Banach said 25 of the surrenderers have been turned over to the Bureau of Corrections while they are still processing the documents of the others. Banach said they are hoping that all of the 1,914 convicts will surrender within 15 days. As soon as 15-day period lapses, police tracker teams will be deployed across the country to start the manhunt. PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde said the CIDG will lead the hunting down of the convicts, while those who fled the country will be tracked down through the help of the Interpol. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
The House of Representatives on Monday approved on third and final reading the proposed tax reform program that would simplify taxes on capital income and financial services. With 186 affirmative votes, 6 negative votes, and 2 abstentions, the lower chamber approved House Bill number 304, or Passive Income and Financial Intermediary Taxation Act. Also known as PFITA, it encompasses the fourth package of the Duterte administration's comprehensive tax reform program. Under the said bill, the tax rates on interest income from regular savings and short-term deposits shall be decreased from the current 20% to 15%. Tax rates on interest income from foreign currency deposits and long-term deposits shall both likewise dip to 15%. Dividend income shall be fixed at 15% except for inter-corporate bonds. The Office of the President is said to enjoy a high trust rating based on the survey made by a consultancy group. And more OFWs are being hired through the efforts of the government. More on this from Benj Mondo.
The Philippine Overseas Employment Administration on Monday announced that more than 4,000 overseas Filipino workers were hired through government-to-government negotiations from January to July this year. The Filipinos were hired as health workers in Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Germany, while others work as factory workers in South Korea. A factory worker in the host country is said to earn as much as $1,200 or 60,000 pesos every month. In other news, the Presidential Task Force on Media Security strongly denounced the vicious attack by still unidentified men on the printing plant of the Abante News Group in Barangay San Isidro, Parañaque City. Initial reports said that 4 hooded armed men forcibly entered the premises at 1:57 a.m. on Monday and torched the printing machine and supplies. PTFoMS Executive Director Undersecretary Joel C. Egco assured that the task force will leave no stone unturned in pursuing this case. Meanwhile, communications consultancy group Aeon announced a consistently high trust rating of the Office of the President from 2017 to present. The Aeon Group on Monday said that extreme trust in the Office of the President increased by 4% point compared with the overall trust rating of the government, which fell by 4% points since 2017. At the same time, the survey also showed a decline in the trust level of other government sub-institutions such as the Office of the Vice President. The OVP dropped to 16% point in 2019 compared to 61% in 2017. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Benj Bondong.
Still to come, the Philippines and Singapore signed 8 agreements during the visit of Singaporean President Duterte-Yacob. Former rebel combatants in Negros Occidental surrender their weapons to the police. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Ito ang Duterte on Duty. Ulat sa ginagawa ng Presidente.
August 27, Martes, Quezon City. Dumalo si Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa 31st anniversary ng Department of Agrarian Reform.
As we highlight our accomplishments and milestones in implementing CARP, let us never lose sight of the primary aim of this program, which is to uphold the welfare of the landless, farmers, promote social justice, and attain sound rural development, to the equitable distribution of all agricultural lands across the country.
August 29, Huwebes. Sa official visit ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa China ay nagkaroon ng bilateral meeting sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa sa pangunguna ni Pangulong Duterte at Chinese President Xi Jinping. Sinaksihan din ng dalawang leader ang pagpirma sa ilang kasunduan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at China. August 30, Biyernes, Beijing, China. Nagkaroon din ng bilateral meeting sina Pangulong Duterte at Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. Nag-courtesy call sa Pangulo ang ilang opisyal mula sa Philippine construction industry na nasa China rin upang bumuo ng business partnerships sa kanilang Chinese counterparts. Nag-courtesy call din sa Pangulo ang mga business leaders mula sa Chinese International Chamber of Commerce for the private sector. Kasunod nito ay pinangunahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang Philippines-China Business Forum sa Grand Hyatt, Beijing.
The Philippines is one of the fastest growing economies in the region and in the world. We have grown for the past 82 consecutive quarters and recorded above 6% annual growth rate since 2012. To sustain this positive trajectory, we have embarked on a historic build program under which we welcome more Philippine-Chinese cooperation.
Nakisaya sina Pangulong Duterte at Chinese President Xi Jinping sa opening ceremony ng 2019 FIBA World Cup. August 31, Sabado, Foshan, China. Personal na pinuntahan ni Pangulong Duterte ang Gilas Pilipinas basketball team sa kanilang locker room bago magumpisa ang kanilang laban kontra Italy sa 2019 FIBA World Cup. At nanood ang Pangulo sa laban ng Gilas Pilipinas kontra Italy. Ako po si Secretary Martin Andanar at ito ang Duterte on Duty. Abangan sa susunod na linggo ang mga gagawin ng Pangulo.
President Rodrigo Duterte and visiting Singapore President Duterte-Yacob witnessed the signing of 8 agreements at the Malacanang Palace on Monday. Yacob, the first female president of Singapore, is on a 5-day state visit marking the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The two leaders signed agreements on infrastructure development, sustainable urban solutions like water resource management, microgrid technology, skills training, education, agri-trade, arts and culture, cooperation in preparation for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and data protection. In his speech, President Rodrigo Duterte welcomed the signing of the 8 agreements as he expressed gratitude for the two countries' special partnership. For her part, Yacob said there is room to further boost trade and investment flows between the two countries.
With the agreement signed today, we take the first of our eager steps toward the next half of century of our mutual reinforcing and beneficial partnership. With mutual trust, respect, and abiding amity, I am confident that we will achieve our shared goals and aspirations of our people.
Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III has dismissed the impact of the African swine fever on domestic inflation rate. Amid concerns on the safety of consuming pork, Dominguez cited substitutes such as poultry, beef, and fish. Dominguez said he is sure that the Department of Trade and Industry and Department of Agriculture are on top of this. 14 of the 20 blood samples sent to the United Kingdom for laboratory examination tested positive for the highly contagious hemorrhagic viral disease for pigs. Authorities are considering food scraps from hotels and restaurants fed to pigs or from imported pork products as the cause of the outbreak. Several oil companies slashed today fuel prices for the third consecutive week. PTT Philippines, Petron Corporation, Flying V, Philippine Shell and Petrogas reduced prices of their respective gasoline products were reduced by 50 centavos per liter and diesel by 10 centavos per liter. Petron and Flying V also rolled back the prices of their kerosene by 25 centavos per liter during the same time. Sea Oil implemented the same reductions effective 6 a.m. to Monday. Oil companies pointed to developments in the international oil market as the reason for the rollback. Former rebel combatants in Negros Occidental turned over their firearms, ammunition, and explosives to authorities on Sunday. The members of the Tabarao-Paduano Group, or TPG, a unit of the Revolutionary Proletarian Army Alex Bongcayaw Brigade, surrendered their firearms to policemen in 5 sites across the province. Provincial police said they turned over 207 firearms, assorted explosives, and several rounds of ammunition. The turnover was held ahead of the disposition of arms and forces of the TPG, which is finalizing a peace agreement with the government. The so-called breakaway group of the New People's Army signed a peace agreement with the government in December 2000 before splintering into 2. Only the TPG continued the process of finalizing a draft closure agreement with the government. Families displaced by the 2013 Zamboanga siege are set to transfer to their new homes. Meanwhile, the people of Sultan sa Baronguis, Mindanao mourn the death of their mayor. More on this and other news from the provinces from Janice Cabe.
10 families displaced in the 2013 Zamboanga siege have demolished their temporary shelters in Barangay Mampang, Zamboanga City. The City Social Welfare and Development Office said Monday they will be transferred soon to the housing project of the National Housing Authority at the Vida Vista in Barangay Cabaluay. The 10 families were among those displaced during the 21-day siege that broke out when members of the Moro National Liberation Front loyal to founder Nur Miswari laid siege to at least 5 coastal barangays in this city. Meanwhile, Cebu celebrates the 141st birth anniversary of the late President Sergio Osmeña Sr., also known as the Grand Old Man of Cebu. The province commemorated Don Sergio Osmeña's birthday with a Holy Mass followed by a short program in the downtown area. Cebu City Acting Mayor Michael Rama enjoined Cebuanos to remember the best examples of Osmeña in bringing good stories about Cebu and practicing good manners and right conduct. Since 1990, September 9 has been a special non-working holiday in Cebu by virtue of Republic Act 6953 to commemorate the birth of Don Sergio. In other news, Mayor Ramda Tuangas of Sultan sa Baronguis, Maguindanao has died from liver cancer on Sunday at the age of 52. The mayor expired in his home in Barangay Poblacion, Sultan sa Baronguis. The League of Municipalities of Maguindanao expressed their condolences. By rule of succession, Vice Mayor Alpizar Angas, the mayor's uncle, will assume the mayoralty post. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, the DENR asks for over 5 billion pesos to fund its nationwide reforestation program. Parents of students who join leftist groups band together to prevent the recruitment of the youth into the communist movement. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Get involved in various issues of national interest.
Is the Philippine society ready for same-sex marriage? Alam niyo napaka-controversial po nitong mga tinatawag na salugpungan schools. Ano? Kamusta po ba ang K-12? When did it start? And ano po ang status ngayon ng ating program?
Heated exchange of views that offers new perspectives and social enlightenment.
Don't push your morals on us.
Don't push your morals on us!
The same way.
You're pushing your morals on us by denying same-sex marriage.
But you're also pushing your morals on us by pushing it.
Okay, mainit po ang talakayan.
Join Undersecretary Joel C. Eggo as he searches for the truth behind every story on Pros and Cons, Friday nights at 11. only here on PTV.
Ang planning po namin dito very strategic. Yung athletes village na to is very close. Walking distance, I would say it's only about 3 to 5 minutes away from the stadium and 10 minutes away from the aquatic center. Imagine that kind of convenience na hindi mo makikita elsewhere. So whatever advantage we can get, we will do it. Generally, we are a very competitive country. We are very talented. Kaya lang nasasayang yan. So, bakit hindi natin gumawa na lang ng mga facilities para nandito sila? Ma-enhance yung skills nito. Ma-tap yung talents na yan. So, kami, in our own way, in the Basis Conversion and Development Authority, in coordination with the Philippine Sports Commission, the Philippine Olympic Committee, at saka ng tulong ng pangunguna ng Duterte administration, we are trying to make the rebirth of Philippine sports again.
The Department of Environment and Natural Resources aims to secure a budget of 5.15 billion pesos for the 2020 implementation of the National Greening Program. The DENR's 2020 budget message to Congress cited the target NGP budget as covering forestry rehabilitation activities around the country. Those are planting over 150,000 hectares of forests and producing almost 167 million seedlings, as well as maintaining over 300,000 hectares of forests and watersheds. Meanwhile, DENR and private school Colegio de San Juan de Letran, Manila signed Monday the Memorandum of Agreement covering the latter's participation in NGP. Under the agreement, Letran will green 5 hectares in Barangay San Mateo in Norsagaray, Bulacan. DENR launched NGP in 2011 to reforest some 1.5 million hectares of unproductive, denuded, and degraded forest land around the country by 2016. As of 2018, NGP greened nearly 2 million hectares of forest land using some 1.7 billion seedlings. In our foreign news, at least 9 people are reported killed as typhoon blew across Japan and Korean peninsula on Monday. A woman in her 50s was reported killed and 40 others injured in Japan's capital of Tokyo. Several railway and subway operators suspended services and flights were canceled at Tokyo airports. Typhoon Fasai made landfall near the city of Chiba shortly before 5 a.m. local time and is reported as one of the strongest typhoons in the Kanto region of eastern Japan. Meanwhile, North Korea was hit by Typhoon Lingling on Saturday, leaving 5 people dead while 3 others were injured. A Pyongyang-based media outlet also reported the typhoon has damaged 460 houses and 15 public buildings, besides inundating over 40,000 hectares of farmland. Before hitting North Korean areas, Lingling hit South Korea, where it killed 3 people and injured 13 others. Colorful cultural activities kicked off in Malolos, Bulacan on Monday as the province celebrates its annual Singkaban Festival, which coincided with the commemoration of the 121st anniversary of the historic Malolos Congress. The celebration kicked off with activities lined up to showcase the province's history, arts, culture, and tourism. Local officials opened the festival through a Thanksgiving Mass, flag-raising ceremony, and a program held in front of the Capitol building. Floats representing Bulacan's 3 cities and 21 municipalities ramped on the roads as part of the Parada ng Karosa competition. Bulaqueño artists, on the other hand, displayed their greatest artwork through the Singkaban art exhibit at the Hiyas ng Bulacan Museum. In a speech, Governor Daniel Fernando cited the efforts of Bulaqueños in overcoming their differences to contribute to the province's progress and development. Fernando encouraged the youth to always remember the legacy that the great Bulaqueños left for them to relish. A new movement has been launched to prevent the recruitment of children by communist rebels through leftist youth groups. The group also claims to help parents whose children have been brainwashed and recruited to fight against the government. Teresa Montemayor has the story.
The fight has just begun. This is what the parents of teenagers who have joined left-leaning youth groups have declared over Philippine news agency's one-on-one talk show. Relisa Lucena, mother of Alicia Jasper, who was recruited by Anak Bayan, said she and other parents will not back down against the campaign of left-leaning youth groups.
Very systematic yung nangyayari. Ang ginagawa kasi ng makakaliwang grupo, tinuturuan nila yung mga bata na magalit sa magulang, maging rebellious sa magulang, parang kinukondisyon na nila yung mga bata na maging rebelde, at the same time, kinukondisyon nila yung mga magulang na tanggapin na rebelde na yung mga anak nila. Para kapag dumating yung time na nasa tamang edad na sila, pag umalis na yung mga bata, madaling matanggap ng magulang na isalbahin na yung anak ko, rebelde na yung anak ko, hayaan ko siyang matuto. Na hindi alam ng mga magulang na yung anak nila kapahamakan ang nag-aantay.
The parents have come together to establish Hands Off Our Children, a campaign that seeks to help families looking for their loved ones who have been recruited by Anak Bayan, League of Filipino Students, Kabataan Party List, and other youth groups. During the interview, the parents said they have noticed changes in their children who have joined the groups. They learned to disregard the existence of God, lost their drive to study in school, became withdrawn from their families, learned smoking and other vices, and acted rebellious and questioned authority. Lucena added, left-leaning youth groups take advantage of the youth's passion and vulnerability. While they are frustrated about what happened to their daughter, Jovita Antoniano, mother of Trisha, who was recruited by Anak Bayan and LFS, said they are not angry at their daughter because they know she can start over and build a bright future for herself if she chooses to come home. LV Kaalaman, mother of Lori, who joined the Kabataan Party List, said left-leaning youth groups are the enemies of the Filipino youth because they destroy the young people's dreams and opportunity to have a bright future and a whole family.
Kasi yung anak namin, ginagawa niyong aktivista at pinapaakyat niyo sa bundok. So sinong magulang na may kapayapaan kapag yung anak namin nasa bundok na? May maraming encounter doon eh. So mamaya matamaan yung anak namin, mamamatay, so uuwi ng bangkay, ganun na lang. So kaya anong puso ka meron, Sara Ilago?
Believing that the fight against youth activism and communism can be won, Lucena urged other parents of missing activist youths to join their group.
Meron po kaming Facebook page na Hands Off Our Children, and then mag-message lang po kayo anytime meron pong sasagot para kung gusto nyong i-meet kami o mas lalo pa naming maipaliwanag sa inyo. At the same time, awareness na rin po sa mga magulang, lalo na sa mga OFW na hindi talaga nasusubaybayan yung mga anak nila.
For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Teresa Montemayor.
Let's check out the weather outlook from Pag-asa. The Weather Bureau satellite shows that the effect of southwest monsoon or habagat has weakened. However, cloudy skies with light to moderate rains and isolated thunderstorms will prevail over Luzon, Visayas, and Caraga until tomorrow morning. And here's another look at today's biggest stories.
The PNP coordinates with Interpol on the serving of an arrest warrant against CPP founder Jose Maria Sison. The Philippines and Singapore signed 8 agreements during the visit of Singaporean President Duterte-Yacob. The Presidential Task Force on Media Security denounces the attack by armed men on the printing plant of the Abante news group. And parents of students who joined leftist groups band together to prevent the recruitment of the youth into the communist movement.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.